For nearly 300 years, the Targaryens ruled the Seven Kingdoms with fire and blood. But in the end, their dynasty did not fall to dragons or ancient prophecy, but to the choices of men. Love, honor, and vengeance set the realm ablaze, and from those ashes rose Robert's Rebellion, the war that ended a dynasty and reshaped Westeros forever. The fire was lit at the great tourney at Harrenhal. There, Prince Rhaegar Targaryen crowned Lyanna Stark as the Queen of Love and Beauty, passing over his wife, Elia Martell. Soon after, Lyanna vanished. Some say abducted, others whisper willingly. But her brother Brandon Stark rode to King's Landing demanding her return. The Mad King, Aerys II, answered with fire and death. Brandon strangled himself in the throne room, while Lord Rickard Stark was burned alive. Then Aerys demanded the heads of Robert Baratheon and Eddard Stark, Lyanna's betrothed and brother. Instead, Lord Jon Arryn of the Vale refused. He called his banners, and the Starks, Baratheons and Tullys rose with him. In a single moment, the Seven Kingdoms split and rebellion was born. Robert Baratheon struck quickly at Summerhall, defeating 3 loyalist houses in a single day. His victories bound the Stormlands to his cause. In the Vale, Jon Arryn crushed the loyalists at Gulltown, securing his power. But Eddard Stark faced the longest road, a perilous journey through the Vale, across stormy seas, and back to Winterfell to summon the North. By blood and battle, the great houses began to move. The friendships forged years earlier in the War of the Ninepenny Kings between Stark, Baratheon, Arryn and Tully became the bedrock of a rebellion that no king could ignore. The Mad King rallied his banners, and the might of the Reach soon marched under Mace Tyrell. At Ashford, Robert was outmaneuvered. Lord Randall Tarly, wielding the Valyrian greatsword Heartsbane, cut down Robert's bannerman and forced the young lord to retreat. Meanwhile, Storm's End was encircled. Mace Tyrell's armies and the Redwyne fleet laid siege to the great fortress. Inside, Stannis Baratheon held out with a handful of men, surrounded by famine and death, yet unbroken. It seemed the rebellion would falter before it had truly begun. Robert himself was wounded and hunted, hiding in the town of Stony Sept. The Mad King's new hand, Jon Connington, scoured the streets, promising pardon to those who betrayed Robert and death to those who sheltered him. But the townsfolk defied him, moving Robert from house to house, keeping him hidden at terrible risk. When hope seemed lost, Eddard Stark and Hoster Tully marched into the town. The bells of the Sept rang as battle erupted in the streets and alleys. Amidst the chaos, Robert emerged with his great warhammer, cutting down loyalist knights in a storm of fury. The rebellion had been saved, Connington was driven back, and Robert's legend grew. The fate of the realm would be decided on the waters of the Trident. The rebels gathered their strength, Northmen under Eddard Stark, Riverlords under Hoster Tully, the Vale under Jon Arryn, and the Stormlands under Robert. Facing them stood Prince Rhaegar, returned at last, with 40,000 loyalists at his back. The two hosts clashed at the Ruby Ford. The battle raged across the river, blood mingling with the waters. On the banks, Robert Baratheon met Prince Rhaegar face to face. Rhaegar wore black armor adorned with rubies shining like dragonfire. With one crushing blow of his warhammer, Robert shattered Rhaegar's chest, and the river ran red with the prince's blood. His rubies scattered into the current, giving the ford its name. With their prince dead, the loyalist army broke and fled. The Targaryen cause was lost. While Robert recovered from his wounds, Eddard Stark led the rebel host toward King's Landing, but another host arrived first, 12,000 men under Tywin Lannister, Lord of Casterly Rock. Tywin had remained neutral throughout the war, but now claimed loyalty to the king. Grand Maester Pycelle urged Aerys to open the gates. When he did, the lion struck. The Lannisters sacked the city, killing thousands. In the Red Keep, Sir Jaime Lannister, sworn to protect the king, watched Aerys demand wildfire be unleashed upon the city. Jaime struck down Rossart, the pyromancer, then slew the king himself, ending the reign of fire before it began. For this, he would be remembered forever as the Kingslayer. Rhaegar's wife, Elia Martell, and their children, Rhaenys and young Aegon, were butchered by Lannister men. The blood of the dragon was spilled in the very palace they had ruled for centuries. When Eddard Stark arrived, he found the city already taken, and the Iron Throne occupied not by a king, but by Jaime Lannister. Disgusted, Ned rode away in silence. Soon after, Robert Baratheon was crowned king. Though his grandmother had been a Targaryen, his true claim came by right of conquest, and by the unity of his allies. But not all dragons were dead. Queen Rhaella fled across the narrow sea with young Viserys, where she gave birth to Daenerys Targaryen before dying in exile. The dynasty of the dragon was broken, yet its last embers remained, waiting for a chance to rise again. Thus ended Robert's rebellion. A war born of love and vengeance toppled the House of the Dragon after 3 centuries of rule. But the scars it left, the death of a dynasty, the wrath of the Martells, and the hidden truths of Lyanna Stark would echo through the realm long after Robert took his crown.